Jan Ozer here. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to work with the new title function in Adobe Premiere Pro Creative Cloud 2018. We're going to look at three cases: creating a title from scratch, working with the Premiere Pro title template, and working with the motion graphics template created in Adobe After Effects. So here's the project we'll be working with, and to add a simple text title, let's go down to the Type tool, click in the Program Monitor, and start typing. If we want to move the title around, we can just click the Selection tool, then move it to where we want to move it. You'll notice that there's a lot of parameters that show up with the title in the Effect Controls window. You'll also note that that's a pretty confusing place to work. To make it simpler, Adobe created the Essential Graphics panel, which if you're in this workspace shows up as a separate window, but it's easier to work with if you move into the Graphics workspace. So here's the Essential Graphics panel, and there's two elements to that. There's the Browse, where you can access all of the templates. We'll look at that in a moment. And then there's the Edit space, where you can edit the text that you just created. And now this looks a lot more like the old Title Utility tool, and it should be pretty familiar to most people who've used that. You've got your centering tools, you've got your moving tools, rotation, transparency, change the font type, positioning, kerning, leading, all that stuff. And then here's how you choose the color of the stroke, and the shadow. So the next thing you want to do is you want to add a background to this title. And to do that, click here, and then let's add a rectangle quickly. So we've got the background, move it down to the lower third position, move the text down, and we see that the background is in front of the text. We fixed that using Photoshop-like layer tools up here, and now we've got the relative positioning right. Of course, you'd never use a white background with a white text, so let me delete that. And what I really wanted to do was add a background from a file. So I move this down here, and again, I've got to move this beneath the text just like you would in Photoshop. And now I can edit either component separately just by touching it and moving it to where I want it to move. So now the title is pretty much done. And one thing to notice is while the title appears in the timeline as it normally did, or as it did with earlier versions of Premiere Pro, it doesn't show up here in the project panel. You see the streaming media background, but you don't see the title itself. In order to save the title, what you do is you choose the title elements in the Essential Graphics panel, and you export it as a motion graphics template, and we'll call it Titles 2018. And what that does is it makes it show up here in the Essential Graphics panel with all the other templates. So here's the title we just created. If we want to redeploy it, we just drag it here, and here it is. And of course, it's fully editable as we saw before. Okay, so that's how you create a simple title in Premiere Pro Creative Cloud 2018 and save it off into the Essential Graphics panel. Let's look at templates real quickly, because you'll probably want to use those as well. So these are the templates that come with Creative Cloud 2018. And then here's the various folders that contain them. So you see captions and subtitles, you see graphics overlays, you see credits, and let's go to titles here. So if I want to, and there's two types of titles that you need to be aware of. One is the Premiere Pro motion graphics, which is what we just created and what these are. The other, which we'll look at in a moment, are titles created in After Effects that are imported into Premiere Pro. And we'll see what the difference is in a moment. So here's a good intro title. Let's drag it here. And we see when we click it that it shows up in the Essential Graphics panel. All of the components are editable as we just saw. So if you want to change the font, if you want to change the font size, if you want to change the positioning, you can do all that with this particular title. And then obviously you can add the titles in front of the various sections and do the same as well. So those are the Premiere Pro titles. They're native to Premiere Pro. Now let's take a look at the titles that are created in After Effects and then imported into Premiere Pro. Let's just add this one here, and I'll just overwrite. So now Adobe Premiere Pro is importing the After Effects template, which is going to take a few moments. And I select the title. And what you see here is that while the text is fully editable, we change that over here, and the color is editable, you don't get full access to the text adjustments and the positioning adjustments that we saw before. You really got to work within the template that was created in After Effects. So very convenient to use, obviously a lot more visually complex, but you don't get the editability with those templates that you do with a motion graphics template that was created in Premiere Pro itself. Hopefully now you'll feel a lot better about using the new title tool in Premiere Pro. It really does make a lot of sense what they've done with it, and it really is just as easy to use as the old title tool once you learn the basics. I'm Jan Ozer. Thanks for watching.